Lesson 55 is concluding our unit on parties. And we left off Lesson 54 with talking about having a very strong grassroots organization. Political parties cannot be successful unless they have those volunteer campaign workers, those volunteer party workers who go door to door, they canvass in the neighborhood, they put up signs, they make telephone calls, they try to register voters, they drive voters to the polling places on election day. So strong grassroots organization is really important. Political machines, powerful state or local organizations that dominate elections in that area. The late Senator Jesse Helms's National Republican Club was a political machine in North Carolina. If this organization got behind a candidate, that candidate would win. Political machines. Think of the Dailies in Chicago had a political machine. You can say the Bushes in Texas had a political machine. The Kennedys in Massachusetts had a political machine. So how can you get involved in a political party? Well, get involved with your political party at Cary High School. Young Republicans, Mr. Page, the Young Democrats. Contact your local political party at the local level. They always want money. Pass out literature, make telephone calls, work at campaign headquarters, knock on doors, canvass. Get people to the polls on election day. Become a part of the grassroots of the political party. Volunteer your time. And then when you are of age, vote. American political parties today, they are active year-round. They keep people informed and interested about issues and candidates. They try to make sure that the party's elected officials are doing a good job. They criticize actions of the opposing party. Oh, do they love to do that. Parties select candidates through a nominations process. It's through primaries that each party chooses their official nominee to represent their party in the general election against the other party's nominees. In a primary election, a party chooses which candidates it wants to run against the other candidates in the general election. We hold our primary in March, and then our general election is in November. Closed primary. This when only declared party members may vote. That's used in most states. An open primary allows any registered voter, regardless of party affiliation, to participate in that primary. In North Carolina, we have what's called a mixed primary. If you're a registered Democrat, you get a Democrat Party ballot. You only vote for the Democrat Party candidates running for office. Same for Republican. If you're a registered Republican, you get a Republican ballot. And you only vote for the Republican Party candidates running for office. Again, this is during the primary process where each party selects their candidates to run against the other party in the fall, in November, in the general election. But in North Carolina, if you are unaffiliated, in other words, independent, you can declare which primary ballot you would like on election day, primary election day. So they're not closed. Unaffiliated voters can participate in North Carolina primaries if you are really interested in if you're unaffiliated and you have an interest in one of the party's primaries. You go to your polling place on primary election day and request that party's ballot. You cannot vote in both. You have to choose one or the other. But at least unaffiliated voters can participate in our primaries. Plurality, no candidate receives a majority of votes in the primary, so they have to have a runoff, a second election between the top two primary vote getters, held in states where the winner must have a majority. Runoffs are usually low-key, low voter turnout affairs. Unaffiliated candidates may get on the ballot if enough voters sign a petition declaring support for the candidate. And how you get on the ballot does vary from state to state. Okay, other roles of the political party. They campaign for parties, mostly raising money for the campaign, helping get the candidate's views across to the public, making sure all supporters are registered so they can vote. You have to be registered in order to vote. So parties make sure that their supporters are registered voters too. They inform citizens through campaign pamphlets, speeches, advertising. Parties inform citizens about issues and the way that government works. They help manage government. After an election, party leaders recommend party supporters for government jobs to be filled by appointment rather than through the civil service process. So if a Democrat, Roy Cooper won the Democrat, he was the Democrat nominee for governor in 2016. He won that campaign. He's going to bring in Democrats to help him administer the government in positions in which he's allowed to do that. So party members help manage government. And then they link the different levels of government. They cooperate between, for example, the Republican governor of a state will work closely with Republican mayors in that state. And the same true for Democrat governors of those states. They'll work closely with Democrat mayors and the members of Congress too. So parties provide a linkage to the various levels of government in our system of federalism. And one of the most important roles is the watchdog role. The party out of power watches the actions of those in power for mistakes and misuse of power. And they will certainly call out the party in power, for sure. It's a very important role, a watchdog role for the party out of power. This is another way that we keep a check on power in our system of government, the watchdog role. And that concludes Lesson 55.